Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the Wynn Resort SWOT analysis. Some of the most important opportunities in the Wynn Resort is their loyalty point system. So this would be a huge opportunity because they could implement advanced technology that they've been using, such as platforms, and they can enhance the usage of the program by using the technology that they implement. And this can bring more people into the market that normally don't gamble. Uh, Going along with this would be platform diversification, so they can focus on online gaming platforms and making sure that they're smooth, um, especially with the international, because their technology could be a little bit different. Just the way that you do it, it's kind of just like the same difference between how there's a difference between how you use an iPhone between an Android. It's just different. So being able to streamline their online gaming platforms would be a huge opportunity to make sure that both domestically and internationally their online gaming is smooth and coherent. Some more important opportunities for Wynn Resorts to look into would be locational trend shifting. What I mean by that is just being aware of which economic areas are booming and why. So maybe just get some market research um, in there. Well, a little plug for market research, but seriously, just to take advantage of economic booms and projections. If there's projected to be, a continuous 5% increase in a major city over the next, whatever 20, 30 years, it could be huge to look into putting a luxury resort in there and taking advantage of locational shifting trends that could really generate profit. That's why one of the main reasons that Wynn was looking into um, what was it, Massachusetts. They're trying to get their Boston license to develop um, a resort there, and domestic tourism as a whole. You know, Vegas is this whole big thing now. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so there's that whole appeal to it, and just making sure that they're setting up proper attractions to get uh, kind of a diversity in their, I guess, in their consumers. You don't want to just go for the people who are just trying to gamble all the time because they're just going to go to Vegas and they're not going to care what they're doing. Afterwards, they're not looking for a tea time. They're just looking to try to make money. So just making sure that you have the entertainment factor there present always is huge. That might even be an SO opportunity because they do have pretty good attractions. And then technology systems, like I said, we're in the entertainment business, so even keeping up to date with the latest pyrotechnics for shows is cool. That's mind blowing. You want to give the people something they've never seen before. So maybe being innovative in that way. Different kinds of light shows, different, up and coming artists. These are all things that Wynn Resorts can implement using these technology systems that can just really continue to blow people's minds and um, keep people coming back for more. Um, like I said, we entertain, so we need to be the best at it. So some threats. China is a pretty big threat because the government crackdown is weighing in huge. It's kind of causing some big time, high rollers to kind of back down and maybe even stay at home and not risk it. Um, and technology adaptation, that goes back to the whole breaking it down into iPhone, Android. I don't know if that's a good analogy, if that helps anybody or not, but just making sure that the servers work together and then that they stay current with changes and trends. We want to be innovative. We want to be the first people doing so. We want to have that recognition. Taxation on gaming, that's huge. Um, more outlets mean more revenue. So just making sure, obviously we got to pay our taxes, but making sure that we're doing everything by the books. Um, especially with the trouble that we've been having in China with the government crackdown and some money laundering. We just got to stay aware of what we're doing and making sure that we don't tarnish our reputation by just making a bad move. And then just other things to look out for. Um, like I said, the government, the corruption in China is huge. The money. There's money laundering going on, and that's just kind of a way for people who get dirty money to kind of clean it. Um, put it through the gaming system, and then it kind of loses its paper trail. So we got to be careful of who we're letting in our casinos, and if someone just has an absurd amount of money, we might need to look into it, make sure that it's clean, make sure that we're not going to do anything that's going to hurt us in the long run. And then just basic inflation rates that can affect the purchasing power of customers. If people don't have the money, if inflation is going up, then it's you just gotta understand the economy and what's going on, and make sure that we can attract the consumer base that we want. Going along with that, industry regulations. Just for an example, times are changing. You can't smoke in casinos uh, anymore. You might be able to smoke in some areas, but generally that's kind of a fading trend, and people are still smoking. So what are they going to do? They're going to go outside. They're going to stop gambling, and they're going to go outside and smoke instead of staying at the table, spending more money, and they can just smoke there. So just that's definitely a potential threat. Would be stock market pricing. There's a lot of registrations and licenses and approvals that you need to get in the gaming industry, and those things can be suspended or revoked. Some of the most important strengths in the win industry, I'd have to say, would definitely be their core competence. Something that I talked about a little bit more detail earlier. They are a high-end premier luxury brand, and that comes at a price. So you pay for what you get, and from the research that I've done online, it's people say that it's definitely worth it. You get more than what you pay for. It definitely exceeds their expectations. Is the feedback that I'm getting from doing this research, and then like I said before, they wouldn't be anywhere without Steve Wynn. Um, he's definitely the driving force behind Wynn Resorts. Um, and then just the whole experience in itself. We're getting back to this basic element of service, customer centric service, and that gives the customer the best experience possible. Gives them a fantasy. Gives them a real life dream that they can live out. Um, and that to some people is priceless. So they're really willing to pay the price, um, to get that treatment. Like again, other strengths, just their features, just everything they have at each operation, whether in Vegas or Macau. They got the whole 9 yards, the spas, the salons, the shopping. Everything is 10 out of 10 stars. All the resort pools, everything's breathtaking there. They really go above and beyond what you would see anywhere else, and that's what gives them their competitive advantage. Their concierge team, everything put together just to create the overall perfect experience for the customer. Customer service and HR, they're the ones that help the customer, and HR hires the employees. So they have exceptionally rated service. They give you that fantasy atmosphere that just wants, them just gonna make you come back. And then happy employees mean happy guests. These are just huge strengths that Win truly has. Some important weaknesses to note, I would have to say, entering new markets. It's definitely a struggle to stay ahead of new markets. You need to focus on economy situations, just knowing what's going on. It's kind of not a day to day, but it's definitely something you need to stay updated on. And then especially with new gaming laws in markets, where the heaviest restrictions are, what state by state, domestically, internationally. You just need to know what's going on so you don't screw up and end up tarnishing that reputation. Which is huge. Reputation is everything in this industry. Um, you know, if you have an amazing time, you're going to go and tell your friends, and that's how we're going to get more business. So we've been down in profits. We've also been expanding a lot. So the profit fell 72%. So as Macau turns from certainty to weakness. So it was just kind of with these government crackdown, and Steve not really getting along with his Japanese counterpart. It's just kind of just been a bit of a hairy situation. This internal power struggle going on. They're just not agreeing on I guess what the original plan was. They'll figure it out, but this could cause damage to the reputation, and that in turn could erase shareholder value. And shares have declined 11%, just hours after the dividend cut news. So, I mean, that's huge for shareholders and people that might be trying to invest. So now we get to some of the strategies. So what me and Dakota did was talk about a few different strength and opportunity strategies. And the main one we touched on was just implementing more advanced technology to their services, to their customers, just making everything more streamlined. People like to see up to date, doing sign-ins on iPads, the concierge team walking around with iPads, taking orders, placing drinks, everything just very effective, very efficient. It's what people want, and just, the experience they receive is, as a consumer, it's such a strength that it really turns into an opportunity to just kind of make it better. What can you do better next time for they come? You can't give them the same thing. They've already had that. They're going to come back for something else. So just being able to adapt and innovate. And then just being aware that we need to be at the top and leading in the technology division. Because that just enhances the experience even further. So strength threat strategies. Win has very high expectations for their employees. Their brand is everything, and then just the way that they do business in general. They have very, very high standards for their employees, and if the employees don't perform, that can come down on them, and then they can feel, just confused and misled, and just kind of disregarded by the company, not cared for. I didn't do well. Well, why not? Why wasn't I given the proper training? I want to do better. I did. It's just some of these things that Win incorporates by being the best. It's just really it can be difficult to get all the employees on board. So that's why you need to make your expectations realistic. You can't expect every employee to be a unicorn, I mean, I'm sure you might get one or two just absolutely outstanding, phenomenal employees, but I mean, everybody's human, we make mistakes, so you need to be realistic about your expectations and really care about the person and help them better. Online gaming is kind of a weaker scenario. We're not involved in it, so that's definitely a huge opportunity. We need to capitalize on it for sure, because that's really the way of the future. We need to figure out how to get a competitive advantage in this field to make sure that we can do it better than our competitors. So weakness threat strategies. Just, Wynn is struggling to stay up to date and knowledgeable about new markets. They're popping up every day, all over the place. So just maybe dedicating an employee force to just staying current and keeping up with the trends. They need to develop a researching team to advance the way that Wynn does business in new markets. So that just goes again with just being up to date. And understanding how the economy changes, the ups and downs, and being able to adapt to those changes. And then we need to give people deals, sometimes just to get them in. Sometimes when the economy's bad, people aren't going to go and, just gamble away their money. Times are tough, and people need to be conservative during those times. So we need to understand those consumer purchasing behaviors during certain economic standing times.